And that it's all the magic.
Yeah.
That's what I looked at this.
I think there said there was someone involved up there.
You can't see the projector. Yeah. Try that.
Yeah, it works because I'm connecting to it.
Okay.
I just disconnected.
Yeah, for some reason this is not, it seems trying to connect, but it won't connect, so.
Well, probably because I.
I said before you were gonna try to.
You have one viewer?
Oh, yeah.
There you go, you're connected.
Don't use.
Well, that's what I felt. That's wrong. I think.
No, I'm disconnected.
You need to turn that camera quick. That way.
I am disconnected, but I'm still connected.
Okay.
Trial and error.
I'll stay subscribed.
Oh, that it.
Yeah. It's like.
Yeah, it's just slightly.
You're like getting up 5 seconds after that, which they are.
All right, I'm off, Rob, you can.
Okay.
I'm back in. All right, I actually have 6:31. We'll call this meeting to order. Announcement beforehand. We are recording tonight, so if anyone does not want to be on live recording, there's a chance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Second, loud enough. It's gonna work, Rob.
We're gonna see here.
Huh.
Let's restart our service. Let's try it again. We'll go ahead and move on. All right, first up, the agenda this evening, meeting minutes, May 6th, 2025. I had a chance to look those over.
So I make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes for May 6th, 2025.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? So. Okay. And do we have any visitors that would like to address the council this evening? Sir.
Yes. Please stand here.
You're fine. Perfect. Right there.
Good evening, John Hunsberger, with the Elkhart County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Council, I thank you for hearing me. I also have a couple of items for you, presented to you. Tourism Matters. This is a pamphlet that we created. Let me just stop. I'm John Hunsberger, and I'm originally from Goshen, live in Elkhart. I've been with the CVB now for 6.5 years as the executive director. And this privilege to be able to work with our communities in this capacity. Some of my previous roles have been as a city planner for the city of Goshen, and also did catalytic projects, project manager for the Department of Metropolitan Development for Indianapolis. Before that, I had life as a construction manager. I did residential construction. I also led projects for La Casa and Goshen for a number of years as well. So I have a kind of a varied background, but it led me to tourism. It was kind of unlikely. I didn't ever, actually, before I started the CVB, I didn't know that we had tourism. I mean, like, I understand what tourism is, but to understand what it means for our community and how that works, I just didn't know how it happened, right? So as I learned, our organization for over 25 years, it's been in existence for 37, but for 25 years, we've had a city planner on staff. And so we've been working with our communities because we understand that unless you help our communities develop and grow, we don't really have a place that we can market and promote to visitors. So we've been working in this area for a number of years, and that's why I was originally hired on. And then I was asked to be the executive director when my predecessor at the time retired. So I just wanted to come to you. We come every year and talk to our communities, primarily to thank you. Thank you for your commitment to work with us in a number of different ways, but right now, primarily, we have the quilt gardens, which are kicking off. Flowers are planted. Most of them are planted at this point, but it is a significant investment by our communities. These are completely volunteer driven. Yes, we buy most of the flowers. We pay for all of the marketing and promotion that comes along with that. But the volunteers are the ones who design, they plan, they design, they plant, they weed, they water, they make sure that the garden is beautiful. We already had a number of visitors already into our center talking about how wonderful it's been already to drive around the community and see all of the quilt gardens, as well as the murals that the company has done. So it is really a point of civic pride that we invest and we continue to invest. Just as a point of reference, when COVID happened and we had that, our revenue was cut by about 80%. And so we were unable to buy flowers. And we knew coming into it, like talking to our community partners, like, well, this is important for you. That at that time, getting out and being outside was important. The community members said, this is important, and we will buy all the flowers. We had enough money to do our digital marketing, but they invested all the money into the flowers that year. So for us, that represents the commitment to the projects to continue it on, and it continues to this day. We have 16 gardens this year in all of our communities. We now have 2 in Wakarusa with Grandma's Pantry coming on board, which is exciting. And we also have 2 more quilt gardens that were added in Shipshewana as well. And so it's exciting to expand and kind of broaden that reach. We have rough numbers. We have roughly 200 volunteers that do this, plus or minus 2,000 hours of volunteer time to do this. And so we know it's a big commitment. And so we just want to say thank you for the commitment to the project. And then just as well, being a good community partner, we just want to come out and, have some FaceTime with you. I know, Rob, we've met once or twice. We're working with our communities, not only in this project, but also in Vibrant Communities. That is our resident outreach initiative. That is a project we've been working with the Community Foundation now since 2015. And that's really been our way of providing funds and resources for projects that the community has said is important. And then we try to align our resources and time and efforts to lift those up as we can. So again, just want to say thank you. There's also a pin. I know, Phil, you mentioned that you liked it. This is actually our corporate brand we believe in here. We found that it's pretty significant through the rough times and the good times. It really does communicate what we value. We value our community. We value the investment to put back into it. And we also value your time as well. So unless you have any questions about the quilt gardens or anything that we do, we welcome them, or I can sit down and I can continue.
Thanks for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else this evening? Okay, so if not, we'll move forward. Hey, clerk treasurer. Looks like we've got the certification regarding tax increment replacement from the RDC.
Yep. This just states that the redevelopment commission taxes that they receive, they are going to keep for their, own use for improvements and not pass it along to one of the other government, entities, and then we send that letter out to the school and the library and how council will do with that as well.
Um, we need a vote for me to sign this? Are we accepting this? Or this is just them notifying us? Requires my signature.
Yeah, requires your signature. But they voted on it.
It just has to be filed, right?
Yeah, we're just required by law to send it out.
You can just make a motion to authorize Rocco to sign the consent.
That cover the bases.
Yeah.
I made a motion to allow Rocco to sign the tax increment replacement amount for the redevelopment committee.
I'll second that.
Motion and second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'll sign it. Okay. Got some pay applications this evening, Katie. Water treatment plant, payout number 7. Moving right along.
Yes.
It's looking good. Drove by it again today. This pay application is in the amount of $668,094.81.
Open the portal. So. It don't freak out. Building will be on site on Wednesday, tomorrow. Supposed to be. I'll make a motion to accept the pay app number 7, our computer, of $668,094.81. I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And then application number 9, DLZ's portion covering from April 19th through May 16th. And it is for $46,791.
I make a motion that we approve, pay application number 9 in the amount of $46,791 for work done from 4/19 to 5/16.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And then Keystone Lift Station project, which is temporarily on hold as it dries out. They moved on to do other things. Services rendered from 4/19 through 5/16 for that. It's $2,120. Application number 10.
I make a motion that we pay application number 10 in the amount of $2,120 for services from 4/21 through 5/16.
I'll second that.
Motion a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah. Anything else, Katie?
Well, I looked at the mural location last night, kind of stood to see, and then that said it shouldn't have that wall. There was enough space to take a picture. And you do stand there behind the cars, you can't see that whole wall with your camera. Unless you're like over on the sidewalk kind of angle. So if we do go with that location, maybe we just want to do half, quarter, 2/3 somewhere. Probably near Elkhart Street. I think that was a good suggestion, maybe not the whole wall. She can't, picture wise, she can't fit it all in.
We've got some time to think about it. We'll take a look at the proposed areas and kind of see what jumps out.
Because she's not gonna be back until September.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you.
Remind us next month.
Okay.
Before I jump too much ahead, Rob, I think Wi-Fi, if you're not on the same exact Wi-Fi that's on, effectively, that's on the EXT.
Did she change it?
All right, police department. Tim is not here this evening. Sent Jay in his space.
I'm just here.
All
I
right.
have the numbers in front of me or whatever he does.
Oh, his report is in the file.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his calendar. See here. Send it to us. There we go. Tim presented us a proposal for the new Caliber public safety system. As he explained last evening, this is the system that Elkhart County has selected and is going forward with. What this system does is it is what enables our officers to be able to verify IDs, license plates, different things like that. All those systems that you guys use to basically just check and do everything, right?
Any and all information basically runs through this.
Current system that we have is 30 years old, 33 years old, I think we established last night. And if we don't move forward, we will be left out on our own and not have any way to be able to search or handle any of this. So the proposal that was sent to us for the implementation and all of the software, looks like the first year's amount is $20,694. And there's also 9,766, which would be year 2 of this. Going forward from that, it'd be $672 a year as far as the annual maintenance and support. This total order is $31,132 for our police department to be able to stay connected and their information to be able to validate.
And Katie, you said there's some money in the equipment fund that can,
Yes, the public safety equipment fund has enough there to pay for this year's.
well, I don't think we have a choice. So, I make a motion that we accept the Caliber Public Safety quote with RMS in the total amount of $31,132. Year 1, $20,694, and year 2, $99,766.
Have a motion, a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Accepted.
There you go.
So we move forward, so you guys aren't left with your own records.
Sounds like August is when Kathy's gonna go live with it, so.
I hate to see you go back to tin cans.
Rolodex. Thanks.
Yes.
Okay, Public Works, Alex.
I have nothing tonight besides my report.
Got any questions? Talk afterwards about that other machine, but still going down there, maybe still go down there and see what that machine is versus that other machine. Yeah. That is in regards to is we are currently in the midst of coming up with a water supply wagon, buggy,
Yeah, something.
vehicle.
Yeah.
For the downtown beautification for all the flowers. We have some ideas, more to come soon.
Great bingo. This is like concrete buggies.
Yeah.
And she'd slosh all the water out.
Instead of making
All right, Rob, you're up.
Pavilion update, we're thinking, Friday, possibly Thursday, depending on schedule, with, Schwartz Electric coming in and installing the 4 big ass fans, which will move. Pardon the French again.
That is the brand
That
name,
is the brand
trademark,
name.
and registered.
Exactly. They're great fans. Troy and his crew are going to try to get those installed yet this week. And if that is the case, there will be some happy, open house folks. So they'll have some more, air movement in there. And like I said, that should happen yet this week. Southwood sign updates, right now the ball is in Premier Signs Court. They're developing an oval shaped sign. It's 3 feet wide by about 27 inches tall. It says Southwood established 1970. Then they are working in conjunction with Union Stone, and might be selling too, I can't remember. Anyway, they're working in conjunction with Jane and Stone to get that sign actually installed in Natalie. And next yard. Yep. And our public works department is going to do the groundwork for that. So we're moving towards a conclusion on that. State Road 19 repairables, I mentioned it last night, just for clarification. If we're not quite sure what a 1-lot minor subdivision is, it basically allows that property to be built upon. Whereas the way it's currently zoned, it is not, he can't build on it. He can't do any public works connections. He can't put electric in it. He can't do any development on it until it actually becomes a minor subdivision. Evidently what happened was prior to him purchasing that property, it was separated into 2 different lots or 2 different parcels, a couple different owners. Anyway, that is what's holding up that entire process right now. I do suggest that our technical review committee stay heavily involved with what is going on out there. I did talk to the county zoning department in charge of the people that are on the plat committee. They're very aware of what's going on there, and they're making sure that everything will be compliant. And it should be according to the county and the state. So that's that. Any questions on that?
And if you need to call a meeting with us, let us know.
Yeah, and that has been very helpful in providing me contact information for someone with the state as it pertains to that exposure on State Road 19 going through town. Trash contract with Borden, or contract with Borden is going very well. We've pretty much agreed to just continue with their service. They've done a great job for us. And so we'll continue with their canister, their residential canisters. We're still working out some details, but we should get that ironed out this coming week. So,
When does that contract?
pardon?
What is the date?
Do we need to vote on that?
And
The terms that we have.
we don't have a contract yet. There have been some
Last details to iron out.
last details to iron out. And the guy that was working on the project for us quit. And so that was handed over to a gentleman named John Bachman. And now Johnny Bachman is not in. So we're kind of in a holding mode, but we have agreed upon canisters. There's going to be, they suggested a 5% increase over our current contract. But if we move our trash pickup to Monday, when they also do recycling, so they're in town one time, they reduce that to a 1.5% fee. So that takes our trash container per resident to $12.83 per container. It will then go up every single year at 1.5%. Last contract, it went up at 3.4%. Their controllers aren't moving off of 1.5%. So in terms of increase, So
That also includes 12 downtown dumpsters now, correct?
those are some of the details that they're trying to work out. I don't know how much Katie helped here.
Sorry, I missed it.
Just in terms of a large trash pickup, then also they're wanting to do large trash pickup, obviously once a year. This year it's going to be June 14th. They, I don't know how else to say this, they didn't invoice us for the last 4 years for large trash pickup. And so now they're coming to us and say we owe them $23,000 they're coming to pay. So they just never invoiced us. That became news to me last Friday. I think I sent emails.
Do we go back through and verify that?
Yeah, we did. They never invoiced us this last 4 years or even years prior to that, when the contract was written saying.
It was written that it was going to be a separate invoice or built into the monthly cost.
It's going to be a separate invoice.
And right on the invoice, you can see $11.80 times 775 transfers. That, those numbers all add up to the contract.
Is that something you can send to Charlie and have him look at?
I could have sworn those last negotiations when they were in here that it was built in.
That's what I thought too.
We went back and double checked. I thought the same thing, no way, but you look at all the numbers.
Especially since they didn't do it before that one even.
So literally based on that, my response is I don't feel the town should be held responsible for their failure to invoice us. When we were led to believe that we were taking care of everything. Or somehow we were believing that we were taking care of everything. And it was being proposed to us, or being offered to us. So those budgetary considerations date back 4 years ago. The start of that contract.
Let's have Charlie look at all that.
But everything else seems very agreeable. And so what that did was regarding the 9 dumpsters downtown, it just kind of threw everything into what do we do now?
Okay.
Any more comments or questions on that? Okay, and then JPR consultation. They are working on kind of partnering with a project that took place about 4 or 5 years ago with MACOG, and we've submitted that study to them. They're looking at that and trying to find out through whether or not they can create a market study that will kind of piggyback off of what they're doing to provide us with further ideas on revitalization, downtown beautification, etc. Kind of comprehensive plan to add to the comprehensive plan that we did a few years ago. And that's all I have.
Okay. Questions for Rob?
Thank you. I know the trash thing was department to deal with, to get, just to get in touch with them and to get it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but did they not get bought out? They were bought out.
Gordon?
Yeah.
I don't know that.
I believe the Himes family sold.
Sold that out.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is that we were making headway, and then the guy that I was working with, he disappeared. He literally ghosted me for like 3 weeks. And then I finally get in touch with this John Bachman. And that's been probably 3 weeks ago that we've been working on some things and got to a point where we agree on all this looks great, let's move forward so I can take it to council. And then he hits me with Friday, by the way, There's $23,000 in the to collect retroactively. So that's all I'm saying. So.
Great. Annette, you have anything?
I do.
Randall? Nope. Phil?
No.
Okay, car show starts tonight. We'll end up out there. This weekend, the summer music series put on by the Shortstop starts. Downtown block will be closed off from about 5 p.m., I believe, till 10:30-ish. Somewhere in there. So keep that in mind if you're traveling the area or if you're hungry and you want to come listen to a band. This first band is Gunslinger.
Bring the chair.
Yeah, bring your own chair. They have the rest. That's all I have this evening. Being as that, I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we pay the claims and adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
A motion and a second to pay the claims and adjourn the meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next council meeting, Tuesday, July 8th, 6:30 p.m. Next work session, July 7th, 6:30 p.m. Everyone have a good month. Happy 4th of July. Meeting adjourned.
Just either.
Alto.